Reflections of AG. Thank you so much for the love and support you have given me since I started this channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I know you're going to love this video, so like it anyways and stay through to the end because I have a lot of vital information I want to share with you and I don't want you to miss it out. So why are we here today? Today I am here to give you tips on how you can land a graduate school if you have an average CPA or you are from a relatively known school. So in most developing countries, we have a lot of private schools that are coming up, and these schools are good schools. And because of the limited resources that we have, these schools help students to get undergrad degree. And because they are relatively new, they might not be known to universities in the developed countries. That's why I want you to apply this technique once you know that you are from a school like that, right? So let's delve into the details. Number one, apply to schools that you are likely to get. So like in any other country, schools in the United States can be categorized into 4 tiers. The first tier schools are schools that have an acceptance rate of 10% and below. Second tier is 30% and below. The tier 3 schools have an acceptance rate of 50% and below, and the 4th tier schools have an acceptance rate of above 50%. What do I mean by acceptance rate? Acceptance rate means that the number of students the school admits after they have made the application. So if a school has an acceptance rate of 10%, it means that out of 100 students that applied to the school was only able to admit 10%. And most of the schools in tier 1 are the Ivy League schools. So if you don't know the Ivy League schools, they are the MIT, the Princeton, the Stanford, and Harvard, and these host of schools. So these schools are good schools that we all know and we all love to go to those schools. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of qualified people who are best in their country, are all applying to the school. So it is very competitive, and most of the time they are unable to take them, not because they are bad students, but because it is very competitive to get to those schools. How do you know the acceptance rate of a school? If you type the name of the school on Google, on the Wikipedia page, you find out the acceptance rate of the school. So if you are from a relatively known school or you have an average CPA, I want you to focus your attention on schools in tier 3 and tier 4. These schools are generally good schools, but just that they are considered less prestigious in the state. And most of these schools are sponsored by the individual state. So if you, let's assume that you want to go to a school in North Carolina. So what you do is that on Google you type for schools in North Carolina and you'll be able to identify the acceptance rate of each school, and the schools that are founded by the states, most of them will be schools that are in tier 3 and tier 4. And one reason why I do not want you to waste much time on schools in tier 1 and tier 2 is that applying to schools take a lot of effort and a lot of money. Before you realize, the application fees can run into thousands of dollars. So I do not want you to waste time on schools that are highly competitive and the likelihood of you getting it is very small. So focus your attention on these state-sponsored schools and state schools that are in tier 3 and tier 4. However, I recommend that you choose 1 or 2 schools in the tier 2 schools and apply. You have to shoot your shot, and maybe you may get admission into those schools, but do not waste a lot of money on those schools because the likelihood of you getting it, because it's highly competitive, I don't want you to waste money. And one more thing I would like to say, if you want to get a PhD, is that you can apply to tier 3 and tier 4 schools for a master's degree. That gives you the opportunity to come to the state. And once you are in the state and you do well in your master's degree program, you can apply to a PhD program in schools in tier 1 and tier 2. If you still want to go to tier 1 or tier 2 schools. So just use tier 3 and tier 4 as an opportunity to get into the country. And once you are in the country and you continue to work hard, then you'll be able to apply for a PhD program in these higher tier schools. Right? The second advice I would give is to look for schools that people from your home country or people from your school have attended before. So if you are from Nigeria, you are from Kenya, or you're from South Africa, and somebody from your school has been to a school in UK or in Australia, in Canada, it means that your school is already known in that university that you want to go to. So then it's not really hard for you to make the application. And the other advantage is that you already know somebody who has been there, you know. So graduate school is more about community than individual effort. You need the support to help you once you are there, because first, you are leaving your home country, you are going to a new place that you do not know anybody there. So having people that you can relate to is very important. And also, those people can even help you in your application process and give you tips that you need for your application. So consider schools that people within your community or people from your alma mater or people within your country have been to before and apply to those schools. But you can decide not to do that, and especially if you are a very good student and you want to go to the top schools. Obviously, you have the opportunity to do that. All right. The third thing I'll say is to put all your effort into your applications, your graduate school application. So the first thing will be about your graduate school essay. So you write essays about yourself, about what you've done in the past and what you want to do, the research you want to do, and even what you want to become in the future. So you have to write a very good essay. I mean that your essay should appeal to the readers, appeal to all the senses of the committee that will read. You should be able to write a good essay that will make you stand out. And also another thing is that in your essay, you can explain why there are certain gaps in your grade. If your grades were not good in a particular semester, you can explain maybe something tragic happened to you, maybe you were not feeling so well, or you lost a parent, or any economic impact on you that caused you not to do well. But the thing is that you should be able to prove that from that instance you have recovered. That's why it's important that if you are currently in 4th year or you're currently in school and you have this hurdle, you put in all the effort to get good grades. Because with that, you'll be able to tell a story that, see, in 3rd year, I was not able to do well in my grades, but then I came back stronger in 4th year because I know I'm capable of doing that, and I'm capable of being in your school and doing well in your school as well. So all is not lost. If you are still in lower or you are still in upper, just put in the work, put in the effort, make sure that you get good grades in your final year, and once you do that, you'll be able to tell a story in your application essay so that you get admission into the school. So the second item on your application that you want to take it serious is the standardized exams if you want to come to school in the United States. So in the United States, we have standardized exams like GRE or LSAT, or depending on the program you want to choose and the exams that you write. So you want to take time to write that exams. Make sure that you have prep enough and do a lot of practice tests, and make sure that your grades that you keep on getting is good enough before you go and take the test. So this is kind of a story you are building, right? So you know that you don't have first class, but then with the standardized tests, you were able to do well. If somebody should show me their standardized tests and they did well, and I can see that, oh, there is a little gap in their grades, I'm able to compensate that with the scores the person got on the exams. So if your school requires that you do that, put in the effort into it and just don't go and write. Take your time, prepare for those exams and write and get good grades. If you're going to school outside USA, definitely you do not need a standardized test, but you might take an English proficiency test or anything like that. So make sure that you put in the work into any of those pre-exams you have to take before you get admission. The third thing I'll say under the application is the recommendation letters you're going to receive. Recommendation letters are confidential, so you wouldn't know what the people will put into the letter they are writing to the schools about you. But then you decide who writes the letter. So make sure that you choose people that will speak to your character, that will speak well of you. So talk to your professors that you know them personally, that can attest to who you are as a student. There may be other qualities outside your grades that you exhibited while in school, and even if you are currently working, that your supervisor or your boss or your manager may be aware of. And if you choose these people carefully, they'll be able to draft or write a letter in such a way that the school can give you admission. And the last thing I would suggest is that if you get any internship opportunity based on research, or you get opportunity to do any research on campus, grab it with both hands, especially if you want to do a PhD program. So if you're currently in school, this is an opportunity for you. You can go and talk to any of your professors who is doing research that you want to join their research lab. If your university already has a program like that, you can participate in that program to build your research capability. If you are in the industry and there is a research industry, you can apply to that industry to also build your research capabilities. What do I mean by that? If you are applying to a graduate school and you have a research paper, or even if you have the experience in how to do research, it helps the faculty know that you already have that experience, so they're not going to start afresh with you because you know the basic of how to do research. And in most schools, you have final year projects that you do or capstone projects that you do. You take those ones very serious because some of those projects, you can convert them into a research paper and even publish it. So I would say that if you are still in school, take your books very serious if you know you want to go to grad school. And especially if you are in final year, anything that you are doing, it is just kind of a preparation for you to towards grad school. But then I'll say that if you are done with school, you've been outside school for a while and you've worked for a while, definitely if you are doing a very good job on your current job, you can apply those kind of skills you acquire to graduate education. So in the nutshell, this video is to help those that their grades are not so excellent about ways and how they can go about applying to graduate education. As I've said, all is not lost and you can also get a graduate education. But before I go, I know of somebody who got a second class law in my university. The person came over to the state and has been able to finish his master's degree and is now working. So it's not like it has not been done before. So I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to be so burdened about, oh, my grades not being good. If you are in school now, this is the time, this is the opportunity for you to build it up. If you are even outside of school, there are still ways you can go about it if you follow the steps I have mentioned in this video. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, you like this video, and put in whatever you want me to discuss next in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll come your way later in the future.